And so I'll go ahead and start recording, and it's not
Okay.
for radio. I just use this to get my cut, so I get your
Right.
quotes accurately.
Right.
So it's Marie Simpson, and what title would I use for you?
I'm an intuitive counselor
Okay.
and medium, I guess you would say.
And how long have you been in business in San Antonio?
Oh, well, I've had my office here close to 30 years.
Wow. And how is it to have that kind of business in San Antonio? You've been here 30 years. You must know the city and the people well. Are they
Right.
receptive?
Well, 30 years ago, what I was doing was something that was not done at that time as much as it is right now. People were not as open as they are now. I think more and more people are becoming more and more open to, what is possible, things that we don't necessarily see, but we can sense. People are becoming more aware of their own intuition, I guess is another way to put it. Mm-hmm. I was very blessed in my career because I was offered the opportunity for a radio show, for example. I knew people in TV, so I did a lot of TV. And so I knew that was the direction that I was supposed to go, that I was doing the right thing because it all just kind of fell into place.
Well, 30 years ago, what were you doing before this career?
I studied nursing and I worked as a nurse for several years, and then I raised my children.
Okay. And did you, when you were nursing, because I read about some people in the medical field having sort of a spiritual sense, working with maybe death or dying or those things. Did you ever have any things?
I didn't work with people who were terminally ill. I usually worked for doctors who were in private practice.
I see. Okay. But you were around life and breathing.
Well,
and
exactly. And illness and things like that. And one of the doctors or maybe even a couple of doctors that I worked for, they would ask me first, what is your diagnosis about this person? Because they found that I was pretty good at diagnosing. Of course, they did their thing too.
Sure.
But they kind of thought that was funny.
So how were you good, and what was your special ability in diagnosing?
I was just able to pick up what was wrong with a person.
Oh, you really felt...
It's like I could tell what was going on with him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't stop and think, how do I do this? I just kind of did it.
Mm-hmm. Were you one of the earliest psychics in San Antonio?
Professionally, I would say yes. Now, there have always been, I guess always, people who have been kind of known as gypsies. But I decided from the very beginning that I was a professional psychic or a professional intuitive counselor. I took it very seriously. I didn't wear strange clothes or veils or things like that. I just, saw my clients and did my best to help them.
It's sort of, some people are gifted with a sixth sense, for lack of a better phrase.
Yes, everybody has it.
Yeah. And can feel and sense and know.
Exactly. Or some people hear, some people are clairaudient. I'm clairvoyant. That basically means that when I'm working with my clients or people or animals, it's like I close my eyes and information comes to me in words, phrases, and pictures.
Mm-hmm. Because I've had a couple of experiences in life where it was like a bolt, and it was just a bolt of knowledge that came, and it preceded stuff that happened further down. Yeah,
right.
You just know.
A knowing.
So, and that's not anything that one can deny exists.
Exactly. And everybody has it. That's what people need to understand. Everybody has an intuition. It's like another sense that we have been given as human beings.
Is October a busy time? Why is October, aside from, Halloween is sort of the keynote, but why is October and fall why do people love this time so much? It's sort of a supernatural time. Do you see more clients in October, Halloween? People are maybe more in the mood or receptive or not?
Honestly, I can't say that that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I as a rule stay busy pretty much all the time. Now, I think that, of course, people have Halloween on their mind, and they may ask silly questions, or they may be more aware if they have spirits in their home or around
sort of in
them.
the air.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's because of Halloween, and even, it being a little bit cooler.
People are sort of putting away all the summer activities and maybe going more. The fall is more going into a more introspective time.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think that's true.
Yeah.
And also, we're thinking about the new year. And so that would be another reason that people would be more introspective. And I think that every year people become more and more aware of their own intuitive sense and are accepting that more.
Because the world is such an iffy place, so the more you can rely on your own instinct.
We need to do that. Absolutely. And we need to develop that.
The Enrichment Center here, I see people must come in here looking for something that they're not getting on the outside.
Well, I think, that's true.
Yeah.
I think they're also looking for things to enhance their lives.
Yeah.
Or to strengthen their intuition, or to support them on a spiritual level.
Because they're bombarded with commercials and fast food.
Exactly.
Traffic and all the junk out there.
Exactly. Let me get out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, when you come in here, it's all of a sudden, I think people are taking a breath.
Yeah.
What sort of people, or not what sort of people, but what sort of questions do people have who are coming in to talk about their pets? What brings them in?
Well, if they're talking about pets who are alive,
Yeah.
a lot of times they want to know how the pet feels about their home that they have with a person, or maybe the pet has some kind of habit or some way that they do something, and the owner wants to know why or what that means.
They're asking you to interpret.
Yes, exactly.
Do they bring in anything? Like a collar or anything like that?
Sometimes, or occasionally, they will bring their pet for me to see.
Really?
And they don't have to.
Yeah,
they don't
but
have
they
to bring
have
their
done
pet
it?
in. They have,
Yeah.
or maybe they'll bring a picture of their
right.
pet. That's always a good thing.
Yeah.
If they bring a picture.
Because you need sort of something to go on or something
Yeah,
to feel.
although I can usually read the pet through the person.
Oh.
But if they bring a picture, it's just, something tangible that I can look at.
Are you ever surprised when, before they produce the picture, can you ever sort of sense what kind of pet this person may have?
Sometimes I do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Yeah, because you're not surprised if someone who's got a face like that comes in with a picture of a bulldog, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, I'm not that surprised.
And so, how do they feel, and what sort of discussion is there? And are you able to? Do you have repeat customers?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Uh-huh.
I mean, a lot.
Yeah. And when they leave here, do they feel relief, or do you give them instructions, or?
You mean about their pet?
Yeah, or how to handle a situation.
Sometimes, yeah, because sometimes they need to know that,
Yeah.
or they'll want to know when my, pet does this. What should I do? Or why are they doing that? So, I think I would say that they feel relieved. Yes, I try to help everybody that comes in, and so that's my goal. So, yes, I think I would say that for the most part they feel relieved, or they feel that they can understand the pet's behavior better.
And you certainly are fostering a better communication if they're coming all the way here to
Exactly.
improve their relationship with the pet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about the readings of deceased.
Well, usually I would say that when an owner has lost a pet, the first thing they want to know if how the pet's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Are they happy? Mm-hmm. Sometimes, when I do a reading for a person who has lost a loved one, mm-hmm. sometimes an animal will come in around that loved one. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily ask for that, but mm-hmm. I'll say, oh, was there a dog that passed in your family, when you were growing up? Or was this a dog that your mother had? Or, and they will say yes, but they basically want to know how they're doing. Mm-hmm. They want to know, especially if a pet was ill, when they died, or they were very old or suffered a long time. Yeah. They want to know how the pet is feeling after they cross over.
Right, exactly. What sort of emotions have you seen when people are talking about their pets? With loved ones, of course, it's obvious, but tears or...
the emotions are very similar to when they have lost a loved one. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like most people, I guess I would say, are very close to their pets. And so when I had a dog that I had to put to sleep several years ago. I had had him for 18 years.
Wow.
So
old for a dog.
Yeah. So that's a long time, to be attached to an animal. They're part of your life.
Right.
So they grieve. Some people have a hard time moving through that grieving process. Mm-hmm. Other people are happy if their pet is peaceful, if they're doing okay after they crossed over.
Mm-hmm. I had, as you speak, I was thinking about my parents when our dog died, and they were sitting there watching TV, and they always kept the key in the back door. And my parents, weren't fabricating anything, but they said that the key started to swing back and forth by itself. And they just sat there looking at this key in the door doing that. And they thought that was Sparky.
I would not.
Have you ever heard of that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Can you give me a couple of examples of that you remember in your own life, or from that?
For me, like I said, I had this particular dog for 18 years, and after he passed over, and he always slept on the bed with me.
Right.
And after he passed over, there were times that I would feel him move in the bed. I mean,
you would feel a movement in the bed.
Yeah, it's like I would have to go. It's like for a moment I would feel that I would forget that he had died, especially. And then I would look.
Yeah.
And so I think that. Well, see, the way I look at it is that when we die, when our pets die, it's like their energy does not die. Mm-hmm. Energy is something that lives on forever.
Right.
And so I feel like their energy can at times be around us.
Exactly.
So something like the key moving back and forth, I wouldn't question that.
No. Have you ever heard of, have people come in here and said other examples of that their pet was still there?
Oh, yeah.
Can you name a couple?
Oftentimes, it's like they will, for example, maybe their pet was a cat, and they will feel their cat brush up against their leg, or there will be a toy. Maybe a special toy that their pet had, and then the toy will still be out and it will move, like the animal is playing with it.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. So, because people are fascinated by these things, because it's sort of part of age-old question, is there life after death, or is there some sort of form, and I think that logically you can't really believe in heaven and God and all of these things unless you believe that there would be something else as well, because that's asking people to believe in something that isn't physical, like that cup.
Right.
So,
well, everybody has, with my clients, I never tried to convince them of any way to believe. They will sometimes ask me to share my beliefs with them, and I will be happy to, yes, and I will be happy to do that. And I always say, I'm not trying to convince you of this. I'm just telling you what I have learned in my lifetime, or what I feel about my own life. And I happen to believe that we live more than one lifetime. Not everybody believes that, and I respect that, and we have no real hard evidence of that.
No.
We have
don't
people
have hard evidence of anything.
Right, exactly. We have a lot of people that have investigated and done regressions and things like that.
Right. There's been tremendous research.
Absolutely. Or even
this.
from doctors.
Oh, lots of
who
doctors.
see the soul leave the body, or those kinds of things. And somebody chooses not to leave. The soul comes back into the body. There are all kinds of research, but everybody has a right to their own beliefs.
Because you kind of can't believe in in what they call a near-death experience unless you're willing to believe in other fantastic possibilities.
Right, exactly. And we know that there have been many, many people that have had near-death experiences.
Exactly. Because people don't come in here to see you unless they have an open mind, do they?
Well, I have had people come in just to test me.
Really?
Or to say, this is my first reading. I want to see what you tell me. I'll say, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'll go on about my reading.
Yeah.
So maybe
you're probably
those...
used to that.
Well,
As
not that many people come in to test me. They really don't. But I think that even those who do, or who come in for their first reading, I think there has to be some amount of openness.
Yeah, otherwise they wouldn't be here.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I think most people come in because they, in some way, of course, people want answers to questions.
Yeah.
But I think in general, they want to make their lives better in some way.
Yeah. And I think there is a great issue of comfort here, seeking comfort. Are you giving readings to people who are newly grieving, or?
Sometimes, absolutely. I've had people come in where a significant person in their life passed 2 days before. I have people also who come in who have a relative or a loved one who has been ill a very, very long time and suffering a lot. And the people will come in to me and ask, how can we let them know that it's okay for them to go?
Yeah, I see.
They will come in for that.
Right. So you get the gamut. And back to the pets, do you have people come in who've newly lost a pet, people who want to talk to their pet who died 5 years ago? Is it a wide range?
Yes, it's a very wide range.
And how long do the readings last?
The readings are 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, and an hour.
Wow, an hour.
Well,
is that a challenge?
Well, I was just going to say, occasionally someone will come in for 2 hours.
How do you...
Now, I don't encourage that.
No. Hard.
Yeah, but some people just have that many concerns, or they need that much information.
And if you're going to talk or commune with them and the pet for that length of time, are the senses that you have coming in and out? Is there any presence of the animal of the spirit, or is it just your intuition? Maybe I'm confusing it with the sort of a seance type of experience.
As a rule, there is not a presence of the person or the animal.
Okay.
Occasionally, my client occasionally my client might feel a presence. Occasionally, if I'm looking at a person who is deceased, and I don't like to do this, but occasionally I will pick up a symptom from an illness that they'll have, like a sore throat or a pressure in my chest or something like that. I try not to do that because that's not good for me, and it's not something that's necessary.
No, exactly. So I just wondered, but it's more of the feelings and the thoughts come to you, and it's more sharing that.
Right.
If you're summoning people, that would be a seance.
No, I am not doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, how do you feel about your work then, that you've done it for 30 years?
Well,
People must, are you booked? You're regularly booked.
Now, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Like today, most every day I'm booked. I don't work every day. I have cut back on my schedule.
Yeah.
So I work 2 days a week, and then I do phone readings from home. I do email readings from home.
Yeah.
So I've cut back recently.
And San Antonio, just San Antonio, or?
Well, I have people that come from all over.
Wow.
And then I do phone sessions. Like I've had people from Germany or Puerto Rico.
And how do they find you? If it's just
a lot of people are referred.
Yeah.
I have a website, and so I'm online. I have a webmaster, somebody that works at getting me out there. And then, I've been doing it for all this time.
Yeah, exactly.
So people have heard about me, or they'll come into the store and they'll see my information about me. And so various ways.
Yeah. So, well, I noticed that there are a couple other people here doing the similar work,
Right?
And I just think it just seems like it's a great outlet for people.
Well, I think that we, as intuitive counselors, however you do it, some people read cards, some people don't. I think it provides a good service, and I have. What I try to do with people, and whether it's with their pets or whether it's, with a client sitting in front of me, I try to go down if they have a problem, for example, whether it's pets or human beings. I try to go to whatever the root cause is of that problem, and then I can tell them, this might be the best way to deal with it.
Right. With pets versus people, do you find that pets present fewer emotional problems to their owners than, for example, the owner's friend or boyfriend or husband or something like that? Human relations are more fraught.
Well, they are. But when I read a pet, living or deceased, they have the same emotions that we do, basically. But I think that as human beings, we are prone to bring in more drama, and whereas the pets, they
not
don't.
that big of a deal. Right. So the problems that a person may complain about with a human relationship is not going to be so difficult as with the pet relationship, because with pets it's really, he's not eating, or these
exactly, or not feeling well,
or stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
So it's probably more of a pleasant thing.
Yeah, and it's simpler.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, thank you, Marie.
Oh, thank you.
I saw